And so I was like, well, what if there was like a extra step where like the money that I saved would automatically go to the lender, so I didn't have to think about it. And that's really where I was like really trying to focus in on. And I honestly was not trying to build the product. I was just trying to find a product that did it. There was no product that did that. So I was like, all right, well, I'm not a technical guy. So my co-founder, Nate, he's the one that built it out. But I knew kind of the pieces that we needed to get it going.
I'm Kristin Andree, founder and chief strategist of Andree Consulting Group. I founded my company almost 10 years ago because I love helping people not only succeed, but thrive in their careers and their lives. So many times I meet amazing people who have so much more potential than what they're utilizing. As I engage with them, there seems to be a common theme: the limits they place on themselves. Throughout this podcast series, we're going to visit some incredible people who have created more intentional lives for themselves. Those who've had that no limits moment where they chose to grow and they put things in motion to help them do so. We'll focus on how you can break through limits. We'll equip you with strategies to help you lead a more intentional life, and we'll have a lot of fun along the way. So let's dive in. Hi, everyone, and welcome to No Limits with Kristin Andree. We are here with Christian Zimmerman, who is the co-founder and CEO of Qoins. Yep. Qoins with a Q.
Qoins with a Q.
Qoins with a Q. So he's going to share a story with us today. But before we get into that, because first of all, Qoins is a micropayment system.
Correct.
Which is designed to kind of, tackle kind of the debt stuff we have going out there. So I definitely want to get into that. But before that, why don't you just tell us a little bit about you? Because you've got a pretty cool and interesting story and background. So give us a little background on you.
Yeah. So I'm 25. I graduated from Georgia State University.
Nice.
I started Qoins 3 years ago now.
Okay.
But yeah, I started, and I've actually, when I was born with this thing called truncus arteriosus. It's like a medical name.
Yes.
But yeah, I've had open heart surgery 2 times.
Okay.
2 times.
Which is just crazy to think, because most people, you think of open heart surgery and you're like, you should just be resting and laying down, that's not, that didn't stop you at all.
No, it's funny. My girlfriend, she gets mad even like when I go to the gym and like kind of do heavy workouts, because I probably shouldn't do that. But I know my limitations, and I try to push myself as much as I can to kind of like obviously be as healthy as I can, and kind of push my brain as well.
So your first surgery was when you were young.
Yeah. So I had like a dual surgery when I was born. I had like open heart surgery, and then also had lung surgery. Okay. So I had like a huge scar on my chest and then one on my back.
Which is kind of cool, because scars are, scars are very tough.
Yeah, it's funny. Yes. My roommate was like, yeah, because we're going to the gym a lot right now. I was like, yeah, we got to go to the beach and show off the scars, because they're pretty big.
Make up something about a knife fight. Yeah, there we go. All right, so as an infant then. So how did that affect growing up? Were you able to just do all the stuff
I couldn't do like very cardio intensive activities. I played baseball my whole life.
Okay.
Up until high school. But more times than not, it was just like I was a normal kid. I just kind of had to make sure I was not like being too rough on myself, or like trying to exert, too much energy when it comes to like cardio.
So it didn't hold you back a whole lot.
It didn't hold me back until I got to high school, is when I really was wanting to play high school baseball. And I made the team and everything, which was really cool. It's just we had to do. So I went to North Gwinnett High School. Yep. So you've heard
local boy. Yeah.
Yep. And one of the things we had to do was run around the whole school, and that's a big campus. Like for a high school, it's a pretty big campus.
Yeah, it's a big campus.
I think the whole wraparound was like a little over a mile.
Okay.
And I've never been good at like more than running a mile. Like I think my best times were usually like 9 minutes tops.
9 minutes is probably significantly faster than I can run a mile.
But on average, at that time, I was doing like 11, 12. I was always the last person.
I don't even think I topped. We had to run in high school. Same thing. Yeah. What is it about you high school coaches that are making us run? But my cheerleading coach made us run.
Well, I think my coaches were actually football coaches.
And they made you
they were like, they were given the same training. But yeah, so that's when I started noticing, is I'm like, we're doing the miles, and I'm a small guy, so I'm like, it shouldn't take me 12, 13 minutes. I'm last to get to the finish line. So I have these yearly checkups. So went to the doctor. I'm like, I just feel like my shortness of breath is a lot like quicker than normal. So we have this thing called what's a stress test. So actually put me on like a treadmill.
Yep.
And have all these things.
You get the stuff. My daughter had that done. You look like you've got wires and tubes and everything coming out of it.
So they do that and they try to exert, as much energy out of you. And the treadmill is actually increasing in incline as well. So after that, they're like, you got to do another surgery. So that was 16 at that time.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
So middle of high school.
Middle of high school. Yep. Middle of high school. So I couldn't play anymore.
Yeah.
It didn't really get me down. At that time, I was just like, I felt like I dealt with it my whole life.
Right.
And I just thought of it as a normal thing. People were like, oh my gosh, like it's open heart surgery. I'm like, I'll be good. I'll be out of this in a week or so.
For those of us who've not had open heart surgery, that is a big deal. You're like, it's fine. It's just open heart surgery. I'll be back in a week. So that's a big deal, a big thing.
It was.
Overcome.
So, I definitely didn't take into account the recovery time. One of the funny things was like, I'm a person who just like bounces back. So right after surgery, I didn't know that like you couldn't really walk. Like, so what they do is they actually like,
they crack open your chest.
The sternum.
You got to get to the heart somewhere. It's kind of protected.
So I didn't really know that part. Like, I'm off the drugs finally. I'm having friends visit, and I'm like, let me stand up. They're like, can you stand up? I'm like, let me try. Like, I had like no, like I couldn't feel my legs. It was so weird.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, okay, maybe this is gonna take a
maybe
little
this might take more than a week to heal. Okay.
But I was actually out of the hospital in a week.
Okay.
So that after a week, I went to the mall that same day.
Oh my gosh, your heart surgeon's probably listening, going, "Oh dear God, I told him."
Yeah.
This is why these discharge instructions are really.
Well, it was
important.
even worse. I was really dumb at the time. I was just like, I'm good, I'm fine, right? And they're like, at the time after the surgery, like you're like this, so like you're really hunched over, and they're giving you this like air tube that you have to like breathe into, and also like help build your back straight. And so. Few months out, I'm already like trying to hit the gym, like I'm already trying to train, and I still have like the scar, and I have like the stitching here, and like I'm working out, I'm wearing a white t-shirt, and my friend's like, yo, you're like bleeding, and like it was
my gosh.
the stitching.
I'm beginning to think you didn't listen to anything these doctors were
I was
telling
stubborn.
you.
I was stubborn. I was.
Okay.
I'm still a little stubborn.
Note to high school age surgery patients. All right, so the stubbornnness obviously carried forward, and you just kind of pushed through and kept going, right?
Yeah, pushed through, kept going. I think every time I go every year. Like,
which is good. I appreciate your follow up now. Since
I don't think I have a choice there. My mom would kill me. But yeah, fast forward. I'm still going to the gym. I'm feeling healthy. I just graduated from college.
Okay.
And I'm working at this full-time job. Which is like the first startup I was at.
Okay.
And then I just started noticing like I was getting like weird symptoms, like I would like pop my neck, and most people pop their necks, right? But when I did it, it was just like I would feel like this like weird coldness like around my whole back, which is really weird.
That does not seem normal.
And then not only that, it would be like hot as, I don't know, it'd be like 90 or something outside. It was summertime.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I'm really cold. I'm like wearing
so
like a blanket.
Something going on.
Yeah. So that's when I went to the doctor and say something's not right. Like I really don't feel right. Like I'm tired, and I just don't have the energy that I usually have. And they're like, yeah, you have this flu. I'm like, no, I don't think I have the flu. I don't think that's it, because like I would literally go to take a shower and it'd be like as hot as it can be, and I would just be in there and I'm like, I'm still cold. It was weird. But yeah, finally I went back and they're like, hey, can you come in for like what's called blood cultures?
Yep.
And by that time I've already quit at my old job, like
because you were ready to launch your new venture.
I'd already launched it. Yeah, I'd already
Okay.
launched, and I'm like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm working this part-time brand ambassador job, so I'm managing BAs with Samsung and doing it all around Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that day because I was at not Cumberland Mall. What's the mall? We'll say Cumberland Mall because I can't remember.
One of the malls, yeah.
One of the malls here in Atlanta. But I'm working out on the activation set was actually outside in the parking lot, and we're in this truck, Samsung truck, and they're like, the doctor calls me. It was like 6 p.m. So I'm like, it's kind of late for them to be calling me. He's like, hey, can you come in tonight? Like, we just want to do some samples tests. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, no worries. I get there, And I didn't bring anything with me, mind you. I'm just like, I'm going to get my test and I'm going to go home. I get there, and then the nurse like welcomes me like, "Hey, Christian, are you ready?" And she brings out like the outfit that you wear, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Whoa, what are you?" I'm like looking around.
Nothing about the doctor calling you at 6 p.m. raised some red flags.
I thought like maybe like they did catch something, but they just like needed to do the test so that overnight test. I don't know. It really didn't. It just kind of slipped my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get there like, "Hey, you're gonna stay overnight?" I'm like, "I'm staying overnight." Like. Yeah. What is going on? Like, "Oh no, we just got to do samples, blood cultures." I'm like, "Just one night, right?" I'm like, "All right, cool." One night turned into 2 nights, turned into 3 nights, turned into 4 nights. It ended up being a whole week.
Goodness gracious.
I got to the point where like on the 5th or 6th night, I noticed that they started doing like blood cultures, the samples when I was sleeping. Like they would do it while I'm sleeping, like 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. I remember like the last one, I felt like it was almost like a way for them to make more money out of me, because I'm like, why are you having me stay here?
Yeah.
And I know that I'm getting the medication I need to like fight the what I ended up having was a heart infection, where it's called endocarditis.
Mm-hmm.
So because I've had open heart surgery, bacteria will actually connect itself to this fake valve. So I have a fake valve in my heart. So it's a artificial valve. It's a cow valve. So which is why I love Chick-fil-A so much.
Okay. You're like the spokesperson now. Cow is your animal.
So yeah, the first one when I was a kid was pig. Then when I was 16, they gave me a cow valve. So they've always said like you're more susceptible to getting this endocarditis. So I got it. It's really rare to get anyways, but I got it. So they're fighting it off with all these different drugs. But yeah, towards the end, I'm just like ready to get out of the hospital. I'm like, I'm tired of being there. I'm just getting like antsy, and like I was sleeping, and they're like, the lady's taking and I grab her. I'm like, do you really need to do this test again? Like I've been here for a whole week. I'm pretty sure you can tell me what's wrong. And then she's like, "Oh, okay, let me go talk to the doctor."
Let me go talk to the doctor. Yeah.
And then sure enough, they're like, "Oh, you can go home." So I was like, I don't know, but.
So this was literally like so you launch a new company, and like most startups, you immediately go into the hospital for 5 days.
Yeah. So
that's
I guess
not your typical launch period.
We started beta testing in September of 2016. So I came up with the idea in May of 2016, did a pitch competition, met my co-founder, started testing it out September, and then end of October was like my last day of my last job, and then I was pretty much full-time doing this from October on. And this was in December. So literally a month later,
oh, goodness gracious.
I'm like in the hospital, not feeling right. And then finally I got out, and then I actually had to have an IV in my arm for another 6 weeks. So I had a nurse come to my house every week, like change it out. But I had this whole wrap. Yeah, it was just for me, it was a depressing time, because like I was excited that I was getting started.
Right.
But I honestly think it was the medicines I was taking, but like I just got like really depressed. Like it was like I didn't feel like myself. I felt like I couldn't like strive to like solve these problems that I was trying to solve. Obviously, like getting my feet on the ground and trying to get going.
Well, a launch in a startup is stressful enough.
Yeah.
And then add on all the components of your health history and everything you had going on. Yeah, I could see completely why you'd be feeling a little off.
Yeah, so I kept my composure for the most part. Like I think those closest around me like didn't really know that like I was depressed or anything, but yeah, I mean it was like really downtime for me. And I think it was once I got off the drugs, like it was like a full 180. I was like
ready to go.
Yeah, it was like I had hit rock bottom, and I felt like what's the worst that can happen now? Literally, there's nothing worse that can happen from this. And that's I just kind of kept that same mentality going forward now. So
I think that's awesome. I respect the fact that you were able to do that, because being where you feel like crud and you're like, it's all right, I've just got out of the hospital, I've got this new company going and all this stuff, and you just feel ooky. The fact that you pushed through that and just kept going, because a lot of people would have just said, forget it, I'm giving up. So
yeah, I mean, awesome. And I got a lot of people calling me like, hey, like, how are you gonna do this? Like, you need to get a job. You need to do this and that. I'm like, look, I'm gonna figure it out. Don't worry.
I like that. I love the fact you're going to figure it out. So we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to dig more into Christian's company Qoins and learn about what they're doing and how he's pushed past those limits to really help it grow. We'll be back in just a minute. everyone, it's Kristin. Be sure and visit my website at www.andreegroup.com. That's www.andreegroup.com. And while you're there, be sure to download my white paper, Top 10 Reasons Your Business Isn't Growing Fast Enough. Now get out there and create your no limits moment. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to No Limits with Chris, I can't even talk. Now I'm getting our names confused.
Christian.
I'm Kristin Andree. This is Christian Zimmerman. We're going to try to confuse me today. So before the break, we were talking about kind of your history and this, I don't want to say a cool story because it was a scary story about your heart and everything you've had to overcome health-wise. But I want to dive into your company, Qoins, and how you started it. So with everything you've been through, what made you... Why this startup? Why Qoins?
So it's funny. So I've had I've tried a few other things, have nothing to do with technology or anything. But I think the biggest thing was I'd always try to get some sort of I would say maybe validation from my parents on is this something that I should work on actually building. I've always wanted to do my own thing. I didn't know what it was gonna be, but this one kind of just stood out. One because my parents are always hey, if you're gonna do something, make sure it makes an impact, not on just your life, but oters.
Which is awesome.
So that's really probably the main thing that stuck out, because my parents are very supportive of that. And then two, this one stuck out because when I was starting, I like hip hop a lot.
Okay.
And my nickname at my old startup was The Plug. So all my friends know, I was just the guy that would get things done. You asked me to do it, I would get it done. And then when I started Qoins, there was this pitch competition called The Plug ATL. And it was for $100,000 cash prize.
Basically written
I was
for
just
you.
I'm totally, I'm going to win.
Named after me. Okay.
I didn't win, but
You shut up.
But I made top 10. And
Okay.
And so I was
cool.
just okay, maybe this thing has some legs. So that's really kind of what made that trajectory kind of make me want to go and kind of keep trying to do it. Because for me, I was well, what's the worst that can happen? It doesn't work out, and then I go back to getting another job or trying something else.
Yeah. So tell us because for everybody listening that aren't familiar, tell us what Qoins is. Describe the company to us.
So Qoins is a mobile app, so iOS, Android, and we help consumers pay off debts. So primarily credit cards and student loans.
Okay.
But we also pay off mortgages, auto loans. And the way it works is, let's say, we actually have two ways of how it works. The most popular way is the roundup feature. So you buy coffee, right? It rounds it up. I paid $3.20. It'd round up to $4. 80 cents would be applied into your Qoins account, and that would be alongside all your other transactions. And then once per month, all the money that you save, we'll send out as an additional payment to your lender. So we'll do that for you. Not only are we saving the money for you, but we're actually sending the payments out as well.
Oh, wow. So it's tied to my debit, my credit, whatever.
Correct, yeah. So you would tie in what's called the debt account, who you want to pay off, your roundup account or your card that we're analyzing.
Okay.
And then your funding source, which is a designated checking account.
Okay.
And so from there, everything else is automated.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and now our second feature, which we rolled out not too long ago, is our smart savings feature now. Now that's been tailored to customers that aren't necessarily spending a lot of money, but still want to aggressively pay down their debt. So what they do, they have the option of the smart savings feature, which is an algorithm that'll analyze your checking account and then on a daily basis pull out an anonymized amount, anywhere between 50 cents and $1.50.
So not anything huge, just not pulling out $50 or $500.
No, we try to keep it very like I said, microtransactions, very incremental, so you don't see it.
I think that's really cool. I hadn't really thought about that, but if every transaction I make, even if it's 30 cents, 50 cents that rounds up, over the course of a year, that could be a lot going towards a credit card debt or a student loan. So
I've actually paid off 2 of my credit cards over the last year. On average, we're seeing people save anywhere between $800 and $1,000 over a span of 1 year. Yeah.
Okay.
And
that's money that wouldn't otherwise be going to the debt. They
exactly.
Just would forget
it's just
about
money
it.
that would just have sat in your account. And that's kind of the thing that we try to promote is that, this is money that you're already, we're not telling you to spend
You're
more
not
money.
going to miss it.
Exactly. And you're not going to miss it. Just apply it towards something that can have a bigger impact rather than just sitting in a savings account that has 0.01 interest.
Okay.
Right?
when I read stories a lot, and I have a financial background, so obviously hear a lot about debt, know a lot of people in debt and I think credit cards and student loans are two of the ones that just seem to paralyze people and scare them to death. And just, a lot of the people I've talked to over the years, it's been like, how in the heck am I ever going to get out of this?
Yeah.
But that's a neat little way to chip away at that. So what made you, how did you think of that?
So when I graduated, my parents were just hounding me on like, hey, you need to make extra payments on your loans. Hey, make extra payments on your loans. I'm not trying to keep paying for them. And I was like, all right, well, let me find like other ways of like saving money and then making payments. So I was using apps like Qoins, which is like micro investing,
right?
And then Digit, which is like micro savings,
right?
But once I used those products, I was like, the saving wasn't so hard. That was easy. My problem was that I had to send the money back but I would send it back to myself.
And then you'd have to decide whether or not you're going to pay something off with it.
When I got it back to myself in my account, I would just go out with my friends
spend it again.
Spend it.
Yep.
And so what I found is that was what a lot of people were doing. And so I was like, well, what if there was like a extra step where like the money that I saved would automatically go to the lender, so I didn't have to think about it. And that's really where I was like really trying to focus in on. And I honestly was not trying to build the product. I was just trying to find a product that did it. There was no product that did that. So I was like, all right, well, I'm not a technical guy, so my co-founder Nate, he's the one that built it out, but I knew kind of the pieces that we needed to get it going.
I think that's awesome. So this was how long ago that you guys launched?
So we officially launched in January of 2017.
Okay.
So a little over 2 years now. Mm-hmm. We've done $4.5 million in debt paid off so far.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yep.
That's so cool. Very nice. I'm really intrigued by that because I've not downloaded it. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, and the feature that we were talking about earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have our newest feature coming out this month in March called Qoins Money Tree. And that's our crowdfunding feature where like you as a parent can actually apply your contributions towards your child's loans. So now it removes the friction of you having to, it's almost like a gifting mechanism saying, hey, I want to give you money. Same problem. Like if I give you money, you're going to go spend it, right? You're going to go spend it. But if there was an actual end cause that had meaning behind it, then you would more than likely do it.
Is it the same for parents or grandparents that it's a rounding up feature, or is it?
Yeah, so we're going to start off with the rounding up feature or the smart savings. You'll have the option of the two.
Okay.
And then our long-term goal will then you can do one-off gifts.
Like a gifting one.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be really intriguing because I know, it's a lot of times, and my parents are the same way. My dad's especially the same way. He's great with money and a financial guy, and he much prefers to do an experience or a monetary gift that somebody's going to save or that's going to be contributed to something that's a bigger purpose.
Exactly.
And I would think, especially for people that, if your kids or your grandkids or anything like that are in debt, you want to make sure that you've got something that can help them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's much better than just buying toys and stuff. Most people don't need more stuff, but they could really use the advantage.
I mean, you'd be surprised if like, I would love it if like I had a few people actually just throw some money towards my loans. Like, it's things that you're not really going to ask for, but if those close around you know that it actually will help, like, I'm not going to say no either.
And most people, if they know that this is something that's important to you, you're actively working off, to pay out student loans. I was fortunate that I came out of college without loans, which I am so blessed and thankful for. But I mean, I know people in their 40s and 50s that are still paying on student loans, and that's a big burden, especially when they've got kids themselves that are starting to go to school.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that we saw too. So that we've seen a few use cases where we're seeing parents hold off on their debts to give them their children better opportunities, right?
I would say it's because I'm in that range where I've got younger kids, I've got a child in college. Fortunately, my parents are all in good health now, but at some point I'm going to be in that sandwich generation where I'm taking care of both.
Exactly.
And for me and most of my friends, we're the last people on our list. We're definitely looking at paying for colleges and for other things more than we are taking care of ourselves.
Exactly. And so it's the other point too that you said, you're going to be taking care of your parents. Like that's the flip side too, because at some point, we're all going to be at that point where we need to be taken care of. And so our children will want to do the same. And we're seeing kids, or not kids, but younger adults helping their parents out with their debts too.
So you can really assign it to any
Doesn't matter.
debt.
Yeah.
So you guys, I love the fact that it creates some discipline, because I think where people mess up with finances is they miss the discipline.
So
it's a forced saving or repayment. If you will.
I came up with this idea, or I call it philosophy, around like personal finance products. So there's three major types: data, recommendation based, and then action based.
Yeah.
A lot of data products, like they just tell you how you're spending your money.
Right.
Recommendations like, hey, get this 0% APR, you'll save more money. Right. And then there's action, where it's like we're actually building the discipline for you by actually making the payments for you. And then we can look at the data to make better recommendations. That's kind of how we're approaching it, rather than just telling you what to do. If you look at habits, right, you can't really break them.
Right.
You have to change one of the three mechanisms within a habit.
Absolutely. And the discipline is the big one. I really think so. Having worked in the financial field so long, it's usually not that people don't know what to do. I mean, people know they should be saving. They know they should be paying off their debts and living within their means, but having the discipline to actually do it. Yeah. I think I'm so intrigued by this. I think this is cool. I'm like, all right, I'm going to sign up, kind of figure out what I want to pay off. It's got some, and you could set stuff up. Now, it's always going towards a debt though. So you're not going like to a savings or anything like that.
No. Right now is very much focused on debt. And I think that's really where our primary focus is. We are seeing people that are leaving now because they've paid off debt, which is awesome.
Which is fantastic.
It's a good and bad thing, right? Obviously they're churning, but what we find is that those people are also promoting our product even more, because we've helped them with a big life goal, really. I mean, people would love to promote when they've paid off a debt. They don't promote it when they have it, but they will definitely promote it when they've paid it off. They'll tell the whole world.
It's true though, because you're like, I don't want anybody to know that how much I have, but then when it's paid off, you're like, oh yeah, no, it's paid off.
Yeah,
I don't have any.
exactly.
So, it's true. It's like a bragging right at the end.
It is. So that's kind of like the goal is to long-term figure out ways to actually allow those customers to not leave, but let them save money with us as well.
Sure. And I think they would be big ambassadors for everybody. I think it's awesome. All right. So we're going to take another short break. And when we come back, we're going to wrap up our time with Christian, and we're going to come up with a challenge for you guys that might help you push forward. And we will be back in just a few. Thanks. Hey everyone, check out my podcast, No Limits with Kristin Andree, on Tuesday nights at 7:30. We will tackle the things holding you back and the limits you set on yourself, and equip you with some strategies to lead more intentional lives. Podcast launches every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. on facebook.com/Andree Group. That's facebook.com/ANDREE Group. We'll see you there. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to No Limits with Kristin Andree. We are wrapping up our time with Christian Zimmerman. I did it. I got our names right this time. You would think it was, it's been a long day. All right. So before the break, we were digging into Qoins and just kind of what it does. I'm really impressed with this. I'm literally going to download right after we finish this. But this is a big opportunity for people to not only help themselves, but to help others.
Exactly,
So every week we issue a challenge to our listeners. We've got a great group on Facebook. It's at #NoLimitsMoment. And our community comes together after the episodes, because my big goal with everybody is I'm a strategy person. So I want to make sure we're not just hearing all this cool stuff and then doing nothing with it. So, first and foremost, I'm going to say, go download this app. I mean, if you guys you've got to check this out. I'm going to do the same thing, because I think it's going to be, this could be life-changing for a lot of people.
We've paid off, like I said, $4.5 million, and people are paying off debts with it. So, I think that's the biggest.
In 2 years,
Yep.
That's so cool. So cool. All right. So for a challenge for our listeners, what should we have people do? What do you think?
I think we were talking about it. Maybe doing, just, I guess being open about having the debt, right?
You have.
Know that you have it, and find ways to best tackle it. Look at there's so many solutions out there, right?
Right.
But I think first acknowledging it and understanding that you do have it, and there are ways to do it.
That's a big thing, because we were talking about this a little bit during the break. I don't know that a lot of people do that. I certainly have my confidants, but if, my financial situation, my advisor, my dad, and probably my closest friend knows. And that's really probably the only people I talk in detail about it. So I would think for most people, it's not really a subject people are talking about. So getting honest and clear with it.
It's a taboo topic for sure. So I mean, don't feel like you can't talk about it. Talk about it with those closest to you. And then if you don't have debt, right, still talk about it with people around you that you think might have, because maybe you can be a helping hand. Because
there are a lot of people I feel like that, if I look at my circle and my group, there are a lot of people that have some debt. And, everybody, we all want to help because we've all been there. I don't know anybody unless you're been a trust fund kid all your life that really has never had anything. So whether you've worked through it or still in it, I think you could be honest and open with yourself and your people closest to you, engage their help. Honesty is the best policy. But then if you are, that's a good point. If you're in a position where you can give back, this is a great way to do this. Even, the app would be fantastic, but even having a conversation to help somebody get clear.
Yeah.
Because I know throughout my life, having that and having mentors that you can sit down and be open with and say, here's my stuff.
Yep.
Help me. Where do I start? That's a big piece for a lot of people.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the key components that don't really get talked about the most, that accountability aspect, right? You kind of need a support system in almost anything you do. Building a business and attacking a goal, achieving a goal, right? Yeah. You don't do it alone, so.
You don't. And the accountability is I'm a big accountability person, and you need it for everything. Working out, drinking water, running.
I'm the worst about drinking water, so I
could rival you.
Coca-Cola.
As we both, for those of you guys watching on live stream, you can see this, but if you're just listening, I've got my energy drink, and Christian has his Starbucks, so
I needed something.
We've completely nixed the water this morning, so we'll have to do. What can you do? But I think this is going to be a great challenge for people. It's just to be able to be open, be honest, and put everything out there on the table. Figure out what help you need. If you don't need any help, offer it to somebody else.
Yeah, I think a good thing that I want to start working on is, or like getting like our community is just like yes, you don't want to share how much you have, but sometimes you have to do that, and people aren't going to look at you in a negative way.
Right.
It's a conversation that needs to be had, and the first step is really just being accountable for it, saying, hey, I need help. This is how much debt I have, and who can help me, or what resources are out there to get that help.
To be able to do it.
Exactly.
I think it's a great start. I'm so impressed with this. I'm telling you. I'm thinking back to when I was 25, I was not founding companies and starting, they didn't have apps back then, but I definitely wasn't starting anything that was going to have this big of an impact.
Well, like I said, it wasn't by myself. So, we have a great team, and my co-founder, and then we have a full team of 8 now. So we've grown from 2 to 8. But yeah, it's
very cool.
Obviously, an idea is just an idea until you kind of can build the right team around it, and then obviously execute on it, and then, overall is make sure that you're making that impact. So
well, I love that, and I love the fact that your parents kind of instilled that in you to make sure that you're doing something not only just for you and that's going to be a good career and a good company for you, but also that's going to make an impact to the bigger community. So love it. Awesome. All right, so this is our challenge, everybody. That's right. Go to our Facebook page, #NoLimitsMoment. And check in. Let us know what you're doing. You don't have to throw it all out there, but let us know that you've had that conversation. Take a look at and download the app and see what you can do to kind of help get your debts paid off. So, Christian, thank you so much for being with us. Until next week, everybody, keep pushing past those limits.